All right. Looks like we got some movement in the cryptos. I guess there's a bunch of countries. I don't know how much truth there is in this, that they're going to adopt Bitcoin as their legal tender. Believe it when I see it type stuff, you know. Don't put too much stock in it. There's a lot of hype going on right now. But anyways, market looks kind of flat to open, maybe a little on the upside. We got a bunch of weird stuff going on. I hadn't seen this in a long time, but looks like we're going to get busy here. Right off the start, CPB, that's Campbell's Soup. I think, if I'm not mistaken, apparently it was down like $7 or something pre-market. So it sold PSB. We'll take a look at that in a second. Let's look at that alert. Just got to make sure that, see if it's on the scan or not. That's a quick check. Yes, it is. So we'll check it out, make sure we're on the right one. CPB. Yeah, so it's down big time, right? And that was on the scan, so we're all over this baby. But same thing holds true, right? We go with scale. We don't get over exuberant about this because this thing could crash, right? We don't know. We don't know what the market's going to do. So what we do is you go over to our scan. We notice it says, okay, it's 41 for our max shares. This is a perfect example of why you do what you do, because we can pick up many trades off of this if volatility really comes in hard. Okay, so based on the size of the account, under 100,000, right? This one's at 70.2. That's 70,000. And we're going to trail this. We're going 4, right? 10%. We're going to trail it, and we're looking at 148. We're going to go 138. Actually, we'll just go to 148 because it's moving so fast here. This could come up and get us real quick. So we need to pay attention to something like this when there's volatility. You're going to hear it if it buys. If it continues on down, great. You know, we'll pick it up wherever. But we're all about the dividends. Remember, we're holding this for life. It doesn't matter. So now you go on to your next thing. Let's check and see. Just forget about it. It'll let you know. Don't think that you know where it's going. Where the heck is PSB? Let me go over here to, there it is right there. So PSB, need to post this. Now let's see what the 422. All right, quick profit on that. Make sure it's not on the scan. If it is, we're going to reset it. It's not on the scan, so we don't worry about it. Go back to the chart. You got to take a picture, send it over to our friends on Twitter. And sold PSB. All right, that's done. So now we clean up our chart. We know it's not on the scan. So we just wait for it to come up. Maybe it comes out of the scan next week. I don't know. We'll see. So we've got quite a few dividend payments coming in tomorrow. ACV, these are ex-dividend date. This is ex-dividend date tomorrow for the following: ACV, PKO, SR, VGI, GHY, PDI, UBSI, WSBC, EVV, PKO. That's only what's in these portfolios. This is not an extensive list of what's in the market. You can do many different strategies. Okay, this one here, you see anything with this yellow yield sign or alert sign here, that's PDI. There's the other one I was talking about, PKO. So you see you got 12 shares getting 19 cents. This is a monthly pair. Great. Okay, just multiply that by thousands of stocks and you start to get the picture. Staying small is the key. And staying small means the size of your account. Don't think that you're going to make $1 million off 10,000 bucks. It's not going to happen. What we got here? Now, let's go back over to Mosaic so we can get a better idea and see. What was I wanting to look at? AFG maybe? Let's clean this up and see what's actually happening here. BOH. I get a little movement down in the, looks like bank stocks are down a little bit. Don't matter to us though. And TLT, okay, this is another one to pay attention to. Possibly this comes up on the scan next week. You know, it's possible every week, you just don't know. But what I'm saying is this, the DCA, this has already gone through the DCT cycle. So we're waiting for it to come back on scan. If you notice, there's no other lines here. So as you would see on something like this here, if it hits this line, that cycle is complete, and then you wait for it to come back up on the scan. And that's exactly what we're doing with TLT. We're waiting for it. This one has, you know, the potential to go all the way up here, or if we reset, if it comes on the scan, then we start that cycle over again until we get up to the max shares. Max shares on this is something like 20. I have to go over here to see it. There's something to pay attention to. Oh yeah, 27. So we'd go 3. So we already have 6, right? So that's about half. It's just going to continue to move your average cost down. Might bring it down to 148. Be like 1/4 of the distance to wherever we buy it at. That's all if it comes up on the scan. All right. Go back to the mosaic, see what else is going on here. PSP already sold. You're just when you start to see a pattern here with the can't say really the dollar amount, but how they're structured in this list. All things tend to move together. Different sectors seem to move together. See, ExxonMobil's moving. You got VLO here moving, and they all tend to peak at about the same time, right? And so you're taking profit across the board. VTR, not sure what Ventus is. Never really looked into it. Don't care. As long as it's paying that dividend, I'm good. Starbucks. Yeah, Starbucks is kind of an outlier. It's not too. It doesn't have much competition. You know, what's the other coffee company out there? Dunkin' Donuts or something. Oh, I know what I needed to look at. Where was it? This is what I was interested in seeing. Here we go. Say HCAP. For some reason, it was halted, along with TCF. Still can't get any information on it. Been looking around trying to figure out what's going on with it. If it was these, when you see 2 or more, it's a regulatory issue normally. Maybe they didn't turn something in, but the funny thing is these are both banks, or at least capital intensive. So this is a CEF, TCF is a stock. So it's some type of financial corporation. For whatever reason, they were both halted. So we don't know the reasons. Obviously, you can't trade it. Nothing's being traded on it right now. So you can look and see, you know, it's just dead. So you just sit there and hold and wait and see what happens. Now, this could be our first possible loss of, well, in a year. We got 369 days without a loss. One of these, or both of them, could go out. We don't know. But if you notice, you know, we're pretty heavy on this one here, 153 shares. So it's been in this portfolio for quite some time. You'd have to go back and look and see when the last trade was and when the first trade was to see how long it's actually been in the portfolio. But TCF, it's fairly new, you can see. So, you know, you have a potential to lose $90 there and 14.78 here. But then you go back and you look and say, well, how long has this thing been making me money? How long has it been in the portfolio? So we don't know what's going to happen with it. I'm just saying it's a possibility, but we don't know. I don't worry about it, though. It's going to do what it's going to do. Most likely it's just something, you know, at NASDAQ, they didn't like what they saw. Who knows, maybe something that they turned in. Just funny that you'd have 2 of them on the same day. So there's PSB. You know, we sold that on the other account, right? Now, obviously, that was bought on a different date because if you look at this, it's actually got a different strike. It has a different profit target. So it's interesting. You can see how the scan on one bought at one time on one account, and then the other portfolio picked it up later. You would have to assume that would be later. Or it was just something in the order flow, who knows. But, you know, maybe we get it, maybe we don't. Doesn't matter. PG, just sitting around. So you can look through all of these on a day-to-day basis, but it really doesn't mean anything. It's good to look and just see what's actually moving. ETR Energy Corporation, I have a friend that works for them. Keep telling them, I say, sell some of your stock, buddy. I said, this is where it usually bumps up against the top and it comes back down, and he's getting close to retirement. So I'm like, he's got some money in there. I said, sell some of it, dude. Put it into an investment portfolio. But he's dead set against it. He said, no, I'm just going to keep pulling those dividends. That's all he does. He never sells it. So he's been there 40 years. So God knows how much money he's got in there. But that's the other option. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. I'm just saying that, he could be doing so much more for himself. And he knows what I do. I've known him for quite some time, but he's stubborn. And that's what happens as you get older too. You'll tend to hold on to what you know that works, and you'll be fearful of what you don't understand. He's a smart guy, but he's just stuck in his ways. He likes to stick with one thing. I like to be spread out and trade. That's how you're going to make that other. You're going to double your money. Well, you're trading when times are good. When times are bad, you're collecting your dividends. So when this market comes crashing down, if you have half cash, you can go back in. You'll be making double the amount of dividend amounts. You're not going to take a hit maybe for a week or two until the market comes down, because you won't be making any profit, and then the dividends will kick in. And it's usually about 70 weeks that markets stay down. Might be longer in this case, because we've never had a run up this long. Ugh. But either way, you could be collecting money the whole time. Still hadn't heard anything on CPB, right? I wonder what happened there. No, that was on the other account. That's why. CPB. Let's take a look and see what happened. See if it's going lower. Oh, looks like it's fixing to kick in. So we'll take once it hits, we'll go over to classic, because people are realizing it's a deal. And then they start thinking, it's like, oh, hey, Campbell Soup's a good name. I don't know. Maybe they missed on earnings or something. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. CPB. This is what I say. You don't want to sit around watching it. I mean, in this case, you got a little volatility here. We could probably take a quick trade on this. I don't even know what would we say, 4? So it'd probably be like an $8 or $10 trade, and then we can reestablish again. I mean, you could do this multiple times a day, but the whole idea is to continue to monitor something like this. If it's on your scan, that's what's going to make the difference. If it's not on the scan, you just forget about it. Just whatever. It's not worth messing with. So yeah, steady profit. Just keep on growing it. Now, yeah, keep in mind, this is on a 10% of max shares. We're, here we go. Just took a little bit of time. So now we want to target it, right? So what's our target? 46.84 plus that 148. That's the dividend amount. And because we have 4 shares, you got to look at you can make a little chart, but just divide it. Well, you don't have to do anything if you are using anything but Interactive Brokers Pro. I have to pay $1, so I have to add 25 cents to this because I have 4 shares, right? If I had 100 shares, you don't worry about it. It doesn't even affect it, right? So we're looking to take profit at 48.60. Let's be an $8 profit, right? If it comes back up there, that's what we do. If we sell, Then we go back in, we do a trailing again. Make sure that was right. Just always double check. Okay, so now we can go back over to Mosaic. You can take a look. So there's your sell price. Right? Came down that far, it can go back up there, right? So you say, well, when are you going to buy some more? I said, I'm not. Well, right here, here's how you do it. All right, get rid of these lines here. And now this is going to be a little bit more advanced. Now look at the size of this portfolio, 70, right? You could take advantage of this and say, okay, this would be the cycle complete. We'd have to wait for it to come back up. Now, which is closer? We always talk about the mean. Your mean is what you paid for it. Don't make the mistake thinking that the mean is the average between the top and the bottom, and the middle is in the middle of the screen. Your mean is what you paid for it. Doesn't matter what the price is. These bars mean absolutely nothing. We use them as guides. That's it, you know. So we have this 50% mark. I'm going to do this. This is a little bit more aggressive, but still I'm within my rules, so I can buy at 45.83, right? So I'm going to put that 4 in again, right? Cost me another $1 on top, right? But this would double my profit. Same target, but what's going to happen to this line? It's going to bring it down halfway, right? Watch what happens here. This is if it happens. I don't know. So now we're using the limit. So we're going after the 45.83. And we transmit that. So now we're sitting to wait. And you see that it's already come down to the bottom in the 6-month window. This is just all coincidence. I don't look at this as being it doesn't mean anything to me. Okay, I look at it as an opportunity. It could come down here and continue on down to 20 bucks. The whole idea is below this, what happens on the cycle? If we get in with 3, we'd have 12. We'd have 12 shares. But look at our average cost would be down here at 46 versus buying it up here at 49. This is the opportunity. So your max shares do not stay static. They change from week to week. In some cases, when you get, volatility like this, you see this big old candlestick over here, it could change your max shares, definitely. And we'll see this actually happen. But chances are this won't be on the scan for a while when you get this type of disruption. Kind of messes with the metrics. We'll just go ahead and put the another limit in, because on a weekly basis, right, these limits only stay in, well, in this case, because we've already established this. So that's 82. Get rid of this. I'll buy another 4 down here. And that's 82. I'm going to go 82. All right, so you got 2 orders in there, and that would be 12. So that'd be 30% of your max shares. You're still within your boundary, but you're only, instead of going 100 shares, 100 shares, 100 shares, you're minimizing your risk. And what you're doing is you're playing to the volatility side of the movement in the stock. When things aren't moving very much, you can look at something like EVV, right? It's like this thing is just slowly grinding higher. Who knows if it ever comes up here? But the whole time, what are you doing? You're collecting your percentage, right? You're getting $1.20 per year. So it could stay there forever. I don't care. 360 by 120 shares. Oop. By $1.20. So you're making $432 on an investment. Or is it 4,714? Divide that by 4,714. Multiply that by 100. you're making 9.16%. Let's go over and look at the chart or the portfolio, and what does it say? 9.2%, right? And it's paying dividends tomorrow. This has been in this portfolio a long time. When you see this high a number, that means this sucker's been in here a while. And I'm in no rush to get rid of it. Why? I'm making $432 a year off of it, and it's probably been paid for. If it's been in the portfolio for 10 years, remember the rule of 72, right? 72 divided by 9.2, 7.8 years. God knows how long it's been in there. Don't have a clue. Don't care. Still paying. You start seeing this, just think, if this is a small account, and I can't remember what this particular account started at, but the larger accounts, when you get up into the 300K range, these accounts are growing at exponential rates. You know, in 10 years, that $300,000 account would be $600,000. It's just a multiplication factor. It's a snowballing effect. As long as you're not losing money, it can only do one thing. It can only grow. No get-rich-quick schemes. You'll get rich quick once your money starts working faster. The key is when you start. If you hem-ha around and you play around with options too much, you lose too much money here and there, and it's always on that idea, well, you know, I need like a run of $500 profits per trade. And you know, people think really big. You need to think small and let those small occurrences, these little small guys, everybody, oh, you can't make any money that way. Okay, look at what happens here every month. Okay, this is a small account, approximately 120K. If you want to break it down further, you can look at some of the earlier videos. Every month we put out, you know, in the smallest account to show exactly what you can make. So this is a combination of 3 accounts that are bringing in. At 120, we all know it's here you go. I break it down so you can look at the numbers, right? It's always winning. Okay? Eventually the market's going to come down, and all we're going to see is dividend. That's the, you know, dividend accumulation. That's this row right here. We've made 362.55. And what do we have sitting, waiting? We've got dividend accruals at 178.52. It continues to grow. So it's going up and down. And they decide to pay, right? Like we got paid $47.89. That subtracts from your dividend accrual account. Now it goes where? Goes into your cash account. So your cash account keeps growing. You keep putting in money in. You sell at that 1 year amount. Just remember, once you get over the 100K, this number, instead of just going with 2, if that was your initial entry, you'd be going 20%. Now you'd be going 4, right? So you'd be making twice as much. The whole account will be making twice as much because you're putting 20%. Plus you'll have more cash. You'll have more money. So this particular account, one thing I didn't mention though is we keep these accounts under 100,000 specifically for training purposes so people can see it grow. Once it gets up to 100,000, we will take cash out and move it somewhere else. We'll reduce the positions. It's very easy to do. You just don't add any new positions to the account. You sell off what you have, then you take cash out of the account. That's what's going to happen when you retire. But if your account is, you know, $1 million, let's say this is a round number. If you're making, you know, 15% per year on it, that's 150 grand. You're never going to run out of fucking money. But people don't get this. They're like, oh, I'll just get my annuity and get that 4%. Well, I mean, 40,000 is better than nothing on $1 million, but holy shit, manage your own damn money. Don't let these crooks take it from you. You can't call them crooks really because it's not illegal what they're doing, but morally it ain't right. But people need to know how they can better themselves. Just a little education, a little bit of time and patience. If you don't have patience, you're not going to win at this game. Let's go back to Mosaic and see what's going on. See how fast I forgot about CPB? So you got a struggle going on, right? People buying and selling. Now what's driving this? Let's go back over here. A lot of people don't understand that you and I don't move this market. Here's we need CPB on here. CPB. Bring this down a little so that you can see it. Yeah. The time and sales. Okay, so look at the volume, right? And look at the size of the trades. What the heck? I need to get it. CPB. There we go. Okay, volume 3.84 million. Okay, 100, 100, 100. Okay, so that's 4,600 bucks. Everybody's doing 100. Why do you think the default is set on your computer or on your platforms at 100? They want you to put in 100, right? It just keeps, when you see numbers like this, 500, these are institutions that are making these moves, or, you know, investors that have a little bit of money, but they're trying to go off real small. They're taking small profits on small moves. Like, I don't know this trade here, and I don't know, you could follow it if you have level 3, but I could care less what else somebody else is doing. Focus on how you're going to make profit. If you've got this kind of money and you want to sit there and day trade like this, you know, you'll be taking losses, and you're going to the industry standard is make more money than you're losing. Well, this is how people lose money, is because they're going in. Look at, there's 1,000, right? So $46,000. Do you think that's an individual? Chances are no. It's going to be, there's another one, another 1,000. Was he just in and out? Probably. If it's an individual, I bet if they had 46,000, somebody's trading off a 10-cent move. They're trying to make $100 off a 10-cent move. I don't want to take that risk. So you're going to get stuck, and then you're going to make what's CPB paying percentage-wise? So CPB is paying 3.2%. So what are you going to make off of that if you had to sit on it? You can't sell it, right? Your other option is you sell it for a loss. So what do most people do? They do 2 for 1. Yeah, they tell you, oh, hey, make sure you make $200 for every 100 that you lose. That way you're always going forward. Well, if you understand what the mean is, if 0 is your line and negative 100 is below, and you've got 200 above, if you look at the probabilities, which one's easier to hit, the 100 or the 200 above? The 100 below or the 200 above? If you have any experience in options, you'll understand that it's easier to hit the 100. Probabilities will tell you over time you will lose money. That's just what's going to, it's just price movement. Things just don't go straight up. Things just don't go straight down. But wherever your mean is, whatever you pay for something, if you put a stop in, what's going to happen is it's going to get hit. Now, I can't tell you what the probabilities are, because it depends how close your profit target is. So if your profit target is closer than $1 to the upside, your probabilities, or your what do they call it, probabilities of profit, are greater to the upside if you're closer. It's just a numbers game. But if you don't have a LCII, if you don't have a loss, if you're not taking a stop, and you have a plan to continue to make money, then you never have to worry about it. You're always going to win. So your risk is how much that you're actually putting into the stock. That's how much you're willing to lose. You stay in it for life. Who cares? I mean, I may die and the whole portfolio may still have everything in it and it's still making money after my death. Gets people to thinking at that point. What am I looking for here? Oh, LCII. Is that on the list? It is not, but we've traded it in the past, and I think it might be in one of these portfolios. So let's take a look. Let me just look at the chart. That's easier. Where the heck's the chart? Damn it. LCII. It is not. Just paid a dividend last week. No. So this is an example. We ain't worried about it. It's not on the scan. Move on to something else. Let's take a look and see on the mosaic what's moving. And let's look at the overall market just to see. Yeah, see, it's still flat. Nothing's changed, but yet we got good movement in our portfolios if we can get it to act right. Oh, there we go. So PG, another one moving. Gilead, whatever sciences. There's that other PSB, still hasn't hit it. MDT, XOM, LTC. Right. Now, one thing I forgot to mention too, but the dividends, the monthly pairs, always watch in November or December for the extra payouts. Sometimes they're pretty substantial. I mean, what was the other day? The AFG that paid like 14. That wasn't a monthly pair, and God knows why they paid so much. I didn't pay attention to it. It was on the scan. We picked it up. Matter of fact, let's take a look and see. I think it's on this one. Mosaic AFG. Oh, maybe it was on the other one. Can't remember where it was. Oh yeah, so yeah, we bought in there. We had a trail on that. And because it's on the scan, here's another example of one that we're going to continue to profit on the way down. Now, anything can happen, right? This thing can crash and just go all the way down. But look at that dividend payment, 14 bucks. I mean, that's something that you see for a year at something like Boeing. And that was a quarterly. Its last payment was 412, and it had a special dividend payment on 611. But that's why you see the price drop so much. They had to get rid of some cash for whatever reason. Who knows? I don't know who's running the company. I don't know the reasons why they paid it. Doesn't matter. Somebody made bank on that, you know. And even if you just had one share of it, it doesn't matter. It's 14 bucks. You know, multiply that by how many times can you see this happen? If you're not spread out in the market, you can't, you know, partake in these type of things that happen. You'll see interesting things happen. If you're just focused on one stock, man, it's a boring life, and nobody wants to trade that way. And sure, if you've got $10 million, you probably have somebody looking after your money, and you know they're making the money off of your money, and they're giving you, you know, what they feel you're comfortable with. You know, like, well, I want something that's sustainable, and I don't want to lose my capital. Okay, well, we'll give you 3%, and you're happy with that, right? I mean, you got $30 million, you're making what, 900,000 a year? Who's gonna question it? You spread your money out. This is why Buffett has such a hard time getting money into the market, because he's got so much. He'd end up owning. He doesn't want to own and be on. Doesn't want to own things outright. But that's what ends up happening. That's why Berkshire Hathaway owns all those companies. That's why Berkshire Hathaway is worth $120,000 a share. I don't even know what it is now. BRKA, is it? BRK. Shit, I don't even remember. Berkshire. Search. Bancorp, Berkshire Hathaway. Well, I had BR. Oh, maybe I didn't have the stock. It's gonna be some. Oh shit! I was way off. $431,000. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and buy you one of those. Like, that's not even. It doesn't pay dividends. It's just a growth thing, right? So you're hoping that it keeps on going up. I mean, what's it going to be worth, $1 billion? I mean, people that got in early, yeah, great, but maybe you can do fractional shares on it. I don't know. It's worth more than Bitcoin, though, isn't it? So who's winning? Just reality sets in, and people are like, what the fuck? How can it be that high? CMA. But you notice he doesn't pay dividends. Wonder why? Because it just keeps growing the portfolio. That thing's, I mean, who knows where it's going to stop. Eventually, it's going to come down in price. I'm sure there's a bunch of institutions, and people trade that shit. Not people, institutions trade it. So, yep. TLT's on the move, but can't do anything yet. You haven't got the go yet. We got the PSB's been sold. Oh, I'm going to take a look real quick. Shit, I forgot what time it is. It's like 10:08. All right, let me go over here to the crypto and see what's actually happening here. We sold one earlier, and our risk profile has been shrunken. We're still at 25.50, looking to get it at 25.84, and you can see the limits above. We're trying to get out, and our positions are fairly small, about $200 per trade. And then you see here, our max shares had shrunk, so of course we change our target or our profit amounts based on those numbers. We don't sit there and say, oh yeah, we're gonna press it. We're gonna press our bet. We don't gamble. What we do is constantly take money out of the market. We will sit on this forever. Same idea. Even though this isn't paying a dividend, the whole idea behind something like Bitcoin or any of these cryptocurrencies is to take profit. If you're holding long term and you think this is going to be the one world currency, then hey, great. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be. But until you see that, what's the point? They got everybody convinced this is going to be around. I said, I don't believe anything until I see it, especially from what I call shills and a lot of other people call shills. If they have a vested interest in it, right, and they own it, you have to be real careful. Because I got into this back in 2011, 2012, and I've done well with it, but I'm constantly buying and selling. I don't, hey, it's great that it went to 60. I've made a lot of money off of it. But let me tell you, the people that are sitting there buying up here at 60 and they're holding it, what are they doing now? They're just sitting there looking at it, right? And they got the rosary beads out. They're talking to their friends, trying to get them into it. You know, it's a lot of people are saying, well, it's down now. So when do people get in? When it's at the top, right? Because they think they're going to miss out on something. Don't be one of them. You know, control, like what are we doing here on Litecoin? We're only going 0.3 now. We were up at 0.5, right? But what did you see? Volatility was quite a bit higher. You have to think about your money. Don't fall into the trap of, oh, I think I'm going to go big. These are just some of these other small ones here. You can see we're up at 1. We're still at 1 on this. This one, I think, dropped from 50 down to 10. Correlates to volatility. But yeah, so we sold Bitcoin earlier this morning. I think we only made like $6 or $7 on it, right? But we're waiting. If it does go back up, we'll partake, right? We'll sell it on out, because what does it invariably do? This is a weekly chart. It's going up and down, right? And when you get volatility that's high, you want to be taking more profit. When it's low, you don't want to be the one, when it's going down really slowly, adding more and more and more money. When it starts going down, my system is allowing me to stay in the game longer. I take all the money I earn out of this and I put it into other stocks, other portfolios. I haven't even touched my wallet. Don't need to. I can make money every day and never lose it. I never have to touch my wallet. I'll probably open that up and have a couple $1 million. If this truly ends up going to $1 million, I don't need to do anything. But I will. I just know me. I'll just continue to trade and show people how to do it correctly. But talking about portfolios, let's see what's going on here. Are we going to hit this? If we hit this, I'm going to sign off. It looks like it's coming down. Remember, this is a weekly chart, right? And so you've had a pretty good move here on CPB. Let me go back over. Yeah, so CPB. Yeah, maybe it hits us and we pick it up. Now watch what happens to this. Your mean or your average cost, right? What's it going to do? It's going to come down to 46.34, and then we'll be able to move our sell limit down the appropriate amount, right? So there we go. Now, I have no insight onto the market, but I've been doing this long enough. I understand how markets move. So we can get rid of this, right? You see how that average cost came down? I was off by a couple pennies. So 46.46 is our average cost. I think that's what it is. So now we go back over to our chart, right? I like to use the classic. So now we look at our average. It's real simple. You don't have to do anything different. It's just like entering a new trade. Now your average price is 46.46. So we add the $1.48. Right? And the only difference is now we have 8 shares. So now you look and say, okay, well, what's 8 into $1? We just add that 13 cents. Like I say, if you're on any other platform, you don't have to do what I'm doing this last part. So we're just going to target 48.10. Okay, so 48.10. It moved our target down 50 cents. Okay, the only thing we need to change is this amount right here. We want to close the entire position. All right, and that's it. Now, the difference between trading a growth stock and trading dividend paying stocks, what we're doing is we're trying to get out of each position. We're using, instead of using first in, first out, we're using last in, first out. And that just, it's for accounting terms in IRS, and especially when you're doing any type of growth stock, you're going to be getting hit with short-term interest rates. But right now, interest rates are very low. So I want to pay my tax now. I don't want to be paying it later. Everybody's got to pay the tax. There's no way around it. Unless, of course, if you have, I don't know if you can trade Bitcoin in your retirement. What do they call those? The qualified plans. But that would be a good place to do it. So you can put that tax off for that time. But majority of my accounts are cash accounts, so I do have tax burden. So you got to keep that in mind as well. But the more you make, the more you got to pay in tax. It's just fact of life. If you want to start your own corporation or something, maybe you can hide some of it. But a lot of people get into trouble trying to do that. Just pay your tax and move on. Remember, you don't pay Social Security tax on things you make in the market. You don't pay Social Security tax on dividends. That's one of the big pluses. That's a 12.5% savings. So pay your fucking tax. That's all you got to do. Pay your income tax. That's it. Don't be afraid of it. Make as much money as you can. Pay your tax. All right. That's it for this morning. Looked like a fairly good opening, although we only had one sell. No big deal. And we'll go from there.